Welcome back. Well, let's focus on some particular information now. Norwest Venture Partners, Niren Shah, who invested in food delivery giant Swiggy at an early stage, expects a blockbuster IPO from Swiggy. Nisha Poddar caught up with him on Big Deal and spoke to him on Swiggy and other portfolio company IPOs. Listen in.
Swiggy has filed confidentially for an IPO. I can definitely confirm that, but because of that, I can't sort of speak on a lot of things. I can tell you that, look, we had invested in Swiggy long time ago, in 2015, when, Harsha was a small startup founder, and the company has scaled very nicely over time.
Yes.
They were pioneers in 2014 in the food delivery business. They were pioneers of the sort of grocery, what's called Swiggy Instamart in 2020. And, they just, it's been an exceptional relationship for us with a company like Swiggy. So,
Right.
So it is an anticipated IPO and, it's a household name. So I'm waiting for sort of this blockbuster to come out.
Right. And with your more investment and more funds in your hand, would you invest in sectors like Swiggy? Because you have a lot of financial services, you have SaaS, you have logistics, so it's quite widely spread. But would you look at these kind of purpose-driven, tech-driven essentials now that it's become an essential service also after COVID in some ways?
So, the market size in these businesses, because of our sort of vast GDP here, right, the market size of consumer and tech-driven businesses is massive. So we will continue to do that. I think we are investors in some of the other tech businesses. We are in ExpressBees, which is a very large, a packages delivery business, which kind of plays on e-commerce. We are investors in Amagi, which is like a SaaS business. We're investors in Off Business, which is a B2B, one of the largest B2B businesses. So we will continue to invest in technology businesses, because they're playing a very large market of India. And this market is, clearly growing faster and faster, especially when you compare it with the rest of the world. We are one really bright spot in the sort of global ecosystem.
Right. So let's continue the chat on the exit opportunities first, because there are quite a few IPO candidates in your portfolio right now, Niren. Let's talk about Off Business. What's your view on this business, and with what thesis you invested, and has that bet really shown results over the years?
So this is a really exceptional company. It's founded by Ashish, Ruchi and Bhuvan. This is a company we tracked right from the day they started.
Yes.
And the minute they became profitable, right, we decided to invest in them. I think for FY24, they will be close to 19,500 crores of revenue and 600 crores approximately of profitability. So it's an exceptional company. I think this company has grown almost 8 to 9x actually in the last, I want to say 3.5, 4 years. So this is a company where we've entered in at about $200 million odd, and currently is valued at almost 20 to 25 times that valuation. So, they are basically the largest B2B company. They play in verticals like steel and many others, and it's a technology-driven business.
Yes.
So in a lot of these cases, I think what the whole idea is that you kind of bet on very smart founders who have found a little niche. The market is getting larger and larger. And if you look at their entire market size, it's $1 trillion market. So right now, there's still a very tiny drop in the ocean.
Right.
When they're at about, let's say, $3 billion of revenue, we think that it's like a big business, but it's actually still a tiny drop in the ocean. And this is a story which should compound for many years to come.
Right.
So that's the typical kind of business that we would like to kind of fund, where exceptional founders, very large market size, good margins, profitability, and sort of focusing on becoming free cash flow positive.
Not many used to talk about profitability in the venture capital space, but at least that turnaround has happened. But you think that the time is ripe for the return of startup IPOs, Niren, at this point, because a few of them are almost ready, and some of your companies would be readying up later in the year, next year. So it looks like the pipeline is very strong for the IPOs to come in from the startup space.
I think the IPO startups, and the pipeline is back, right? I think what's happening is there was a disconnection in the line, right, around 2021, where I think a lot of IPOs in India wanted to go IPO based on sort of loss-making companies which had a while to go before they turned break-even.
Yes.
I think what we're seeing now, it's a very interesting trend, is that everyone in the startup ecosystem has really sort of understood that the companies need to be not only EBITDA profitable, but also focus on free cash flow.
Yes.
And because of that, we're slowly starting to see that gap between the IPO markets and the private ecosystem and the startup ecosystem sort of coming down. So
Yes.
I think some of the companies are working on their profitability and free cash flow, and so therefore it'll take a little bit of time.
Yes.
But I definitely think that that disconnection, the line has got restored, and you will see more and more companies coming in now and saying that, okay, we'd like to go IPO.
All right, interesting conversation there. Speaking about a bunch of IPOs, the one that stood out for me was Swiggy. But what we'll do is we'll take a short break, come back, talk about all the FMCG stocks which are in focus today. Numbers likely from Godrej Consumer and Marico. Britannia is the top nifty gainer today after strong commentary coming in from the management in the conference call. So we'll discuss all of that in detail after this break.